Some time ago, I reviewed the pre-production version of the Whirlwind FX Vortex. This desktop peripheral was designed to further immerse gamers into their favorite multimedia experiences by generating bursts of warm and cool air to complement what's being displayed on screen. Well, Whirlwind FX has yet another product designed to augment the gameplay experience, but this one does so in an entirely different way. The Whirlwind FX Element is a full-size gaming keyboard that retails for about $130, but if you follow our Amazon affiliate link, you might be able to find it a bit cheaper. It has RGB lighting, Kale mechanical switches, and a relatively compact layout. So far, nothing really to write home about. However, Whirlwind FX claims that, quote, "The Element is a content-reactive mechanical keyboard that syncs dynamic RGB effects for customized illumination with any PC game." So essentially, the lighting effects change depending on what's displayed on screen. Well, that makes sense and all, but what does that look like? Well, in practice, it looks pretty cool. It essentially turns your keys into pixels that display a super low resolution version of what's on screen. But we're getting a little bit ahead of ourselves. Let's back up a bit and talk about the product itself. The board is offered in just one finish, a black aircraft grade brushed aluminum. The backplate wraps around 3 of the 4 edges, making it feel incredibly sturdy. It's pretty hefty, even for a full-size board. The fold-out feet provide generous slope to the board, and throw in an optional Whirlwind FX wrist rest, and you have a very comfortable user experience on your hands. The overall layout is sharp and minimalistic, which I appreciate. The unassuming design even extends to the keycaps, which are topped with large and perfectly legible letters and symbols. If you feel these keycaps don't sufficiently accentuate the unique lighting capabilities of the Element, you can also purchase light cap and pudding style designs directly from Whirlwind FX. These higher quality PBT keycaps are designed to show off more light. The Element has all of the features we've come to expect from a modern gaming keyboard, such as N-key rollover, anti-ghosting, and a 1000Hz plus polling rate. The sample I was sent is loaded with linear Kale red switches, but tactile blues are also an option. I know what you're thinking. We're not here to talk about the anti-ghosting or discuss which switch type is superior. No, we are here to take a closer look at that dynamic lighting effect that's present on the Element keyboard. So let's fire up their signature Signal software and see what's what. In the included materials, they reference a Signal software. Online, when you download it, it's called Whirlwind FX Engine or something like that. The software can basically be broken down into 4 tabs: dashboard, devices, effects, and media settings. The dashboard is where you'll find various effects created by the Whirlwind FX team and the Element community. Some of these effects will even use the keyboard to display ancillary information, such as a motion detector, health bar, or playable zone in Battle Royale games. But before you can use any of these effects, you'll have to sign up with an email address. The Devices tab is where you'll see all of your Whirlwind FX devices. As of recording, the only devices they offer are the Element keyboard, FX Strip, and Vortex. This tab is also where you can paint on the RGB lighting if for some reason none of the other effects grab your interest. And if you need to, you can also reposition the capture area of the keyboard. The Effects tab is where you can select from any of your downloaded effects and apply them to the board. You have one effect active when media is detected, and another when media is not detected. These act as kind of like a screensaver. They even have traditional Windows screensavers, such as bubbles or pipes. You can modify the color, brightness, and saturation settings from here as well. For the best experience, I found enhancing the brightness and oversaturating a bit works pretty well. All changes are immediate, and there are no saved profiles, so keep that in mind while you're experimenting. Finally, the Media Settings tab is where you'll modify some of the more technical aspects of the software. This is especially useful if you want to reduce the load the software has on a less capable machine. But once you're satisfied with your selections here, you probably won't need to visit this tab again. While the software is advertised as a gaming companion, it uses audio detection to determine if media is being displayed. So the reactive lighting will take effect if you're only watching a YouTube video or even just listening to music with your desktop open. However, if you have a dynamic background like I do, that's not necessarily a bad thing. But games are where the lighting effects really shine. Obviously, the more vibrant and colorful, the better. Once you have your settings dialed in, it's really fun to play with. While I was generally impressed by the software, it definitely could still use some work. Typing in the search bar doesn't delete the search text, the titles inexplicably have periods after them, and you can only click and drag the program by selecting a certain unidentified area near the top of the window. While the dynamic lighting performed well in almost every game I tried it with, it mysteriously struggled with Doom Eternal. Now, I was particularly excited to load up Doom, thinking the colorful atmosphere and fast-paced gameplay would be a perfect way to experience the software. But unfortunately, possibly the Vulkan API is making the program fall flat once Doom Eternal begins. It still detects media playing, but for some reason fails to display anything shown on screen. If you switch to a windowed mode, however, the software functions exactly as I had hoped. Blood punches make the lighting erupt in an explosion of red mist, and the appearance of an up-close hologram shades the entire board with a soothing blue veil. But apart from these quirks, I think the software is the greatest part of the whole experience. And that's something I don't think I've ever said before. It stands to reason then that the worst part of the experience is the hardware. Now that doesn't necessarily mean the keyboard is bad, but it's definitely not great. Typing on the Element is perfectly comfortable, and the Kale Reds perform as well as you'd expect. The natural heft of the board, along with generous rubberized pads, keep it from sliding around. But these keycaps are possibly the worst I've ever tried. They're slippery to the touch and have an unsettling, waxy texture. Even if your fingers are perfectly clean and dry, they immediately feel greasy the moment they touch these. As someone who just spent an amount of money I'd rather not admit on a set of custom keycaps, these are pretty bad. Now, thankfully, a keyboard is not ruined by terrible keycaps, as replacements are readily available and really easy to install. As I mentioned, Whirlwind FX sells higher quality replacement keycaps for this exact device. I only wish there was an option to have those keycaps pre-installed instead of having to order them separately. While I think it's an attractive device, I feel Whirlwind could have done a better job of producing hardware that better accentuated the stellar software. The LEDs are bright, but the default keycaps obscure them way too much, and the black backplate does little to diffuse the light. All I'm saying is, better keycaps and an optional white finish would have helped a lot. The super dark backplate also means you'll start to see hair, dust, and dead skin after just a couple of days of use, so keep that compressed air handy. The braided cable is robust, but it's far too short and unreasonably thick. I would understand if there was a USB or audio pass-through, but it's really just a standard USB 2.0 connection. Why is this thing so thick? I used a standard USB 2.0 extension cable and it worked fine. It's not often that a lighting effect alone is enough to get me to review a product. Rawcat's AMO lighting is the only other example that comes to mind. However, the dynamic lighting of the Whirlwind FX Element was too unique to pass up. I know this has been attempted before by other peripheral manufacturers, but they had fewer options and their implementations, I feel, weren't as graceful. The beauty of the Signal software, or Whirlwind engine, is that it provides users with an entire spectrum of customization options. The casual user can set it up once and never have to open the program again. Those looking for a little more variety can select from one of the presets or search from user-generated content. And finally, those with some coding experience can truly make the Element their own. Unfortunately, this really interesting software is paired with pretty mediocre hardware. But if the issues I outlined with the keyboard don't bother you, then I recommend getting one. Just remember to budget for a new set of keycaps. If you want to enter our giveaway for a Rawcat Vulkan and Kane combo, check out the link in the video description. You can also access our affiliate links, visit our Amazon store, or check out our awesome shirt designs, all found right below that like button. If you found this video interesting or insightful, then consider subscribing so you know when our future content is ready. Thanks for being here, and we'll see you next time.